Hello guys, as usual stay home, stay safe, and don't forget to do Excel chemistry. Alright, so today let's talk about some more. Uh, no, we have done the properties. Now let's talk about the anomalous behavior of boron. Okay, excuse me. So, boron, how the boron's properties or the various properties of boron is in different or very much dissimilar with other element properties. Okay, and what are the main reasons for them is the very same reasons that you have already studied earlier with respect to other elements. Number one, that is its small size. Because of the small size, what is having the Z effective nuclear charge on the valence electrons is high. Yes or no? The smaller size of the atom, nucleus at the center, smaller atom, so the nucleus force of attraction on the valence electrons is very high. So because of this, so effective on outer electrons, effective nuclear charge on outer electrons is very high, and because of this reason we can say like ionization energy is very high. Yes or no? So if ionization energy is very high, that means what? It is very difficult to remove an electron from an isolated gaseous atom. That's what's the difference. That's what its meaning is. Then it is also exhibits the non-metallicness. Like for example, already said, as ionization energy is very high, meaning what? Any species which has the tendency to lose electron, they are metals. Which do not show the tendency to lose electrons, they are non-metals. Like yes or no? So this fellow, it is not showing interest to lose electrons, so it is likely to be non-metallic in nature, right? So it is boron is non-metallic in nature, whereas others are all metallic in nature. Then maximum covalency that boron can exhibit is how much? Maximum covalency is 4, whereas others like other elements can exhibit maximum to 6. Why? Others have the vacant d orbitals and they can extend using the d orbitals, they can extend their covalency. Okay, but boron's case we don't have the d orbitals, so its covalency is limited to only 4. Boron's configuration, you have already known this point already. So what is that? 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. When I say 2p1, that means what? I have 2 electrons here, and in 2p 1 electron, right? So during the bonding it can extend its covalency by exciting this electron into this shell. So I have only 1 electron here, and so 3 unpaired electrons, and still it has one empty orbital where it can involve the dative bond. So on a whole, net covalence is what? 1 2 3 4. So it can extend to form 4 bonds. On the other hand, for other elements, because of the d orbital's availability, they can extend their covalence to 6. Okay, then boron is the only element which exhibits allotropy. Other elements do not exhibit allotropy. What is allotropy? What is allotropy? In carbon and its compounds in 10th standard you should have studied this word, allotropy. A very familiar word. And what is the oxidation state of boron? It is +3 only, whereas other species, other metals, they can exhibit +1 as well as +3 both, but this fellow only +3. And similarly it does not form, at this point is important, that it doesn't form cations in aqueous solution. Why it does not form cations? Because the hydration energy is very less or less than the ionization energies of all the first 3 ionization energy summation. If I include IE1, IE2, IE3, sum up all of the ionization energies, when I compare them, the hydration energy is very much less than these fellows. Okay, so if the hydration energy is less, what do you mean by hydration energy? The species that has to be surrounded by layers and layers of water, and during this forces of attraction, energy is released, that is hydration energy. So hydration energy is less, meaning it does not dissolve. Okay, if hydration energy is less, if hydration energy is more, that means what? It is dissolving. If hydration energy is less, that means it is not dissolving. And as compared to the ionization energy values, its value is very less. So it does not form cations in the aqueous solution because of the hydration energy is very less. Then it can form monomeric halides. Monomeric halides. Other form dimeric and polymeric halides like aluminium, AlCl3 can be exhibiting as Al2 or Al2Cl6 type. Okay, like that they can exhibit in polymer and dimeric forms, and it exhibits or it has no inert pair effect. Obviously, I told you like inert pair effect will be beginning, or it is inert pair effect is observed only from the value of n is equals to 4 to greater than 4. Okay, greater than or equal to 4. From the fourth shell only we will see the n, that is inert pair effect coming into play. What is inert pair effect? The reluctance of inner electrons to be participating in bonding. Why is it not participating in bonding? Because of poor shielding effect of the inner shells electrons. So no inert pair effect by this fellow boron. Then it forms, we have already studied this, volatile hydrides which are covalent in nature, covalent hydrides, whereas others they form ionic hydrides. Others form ionic hydrides, and it does not decompose in water, or it does not decompose water. It doesn't decompose water or steam, whereas other species like aluminum, gallium, they decompose water. Okay, and form aluminum hydroxide respectively. And then if you talk about the oxides, B2O3 is acidic in nature, but Al2O3 is amphoteric, and if you go to the bottom side you will find that they are basic in nature. So B2O3 is acidic in nature unlike others. Then it dissolves in concentrated nitric acid to form boric acid, that is H3BO3. On dissolving in concentrated nitric acid, we have studied this reaction in the last class itself, and it reacts with metals. Boron reacts with metals to form metal borides. Metal borides. Others they don't react with metals. In fact, others form alloys, but they don't react. But this fellow boron will react and to form metal borides. Okay, so these are the properties, or which is showing dissimilar with other elements. Okay, anomalous behavior of boron. Now let's continue our discussion with the diagonal relationship of boron with another element. Which element? Which element is that which is exhibiting diagonal relationship with boron? I hope you should have answered, and you have answered, I think. With silicon we have the diagonal relationship, that is between boron and silicon. As usual, the properties you are very much familiar. What are all the anomalous behaviors that you have studied? You study the same things, but apart from that, some more points. Both boron and silicon, they both are nonmetals. Both are nonmetals. Okay, then they have high because of this reason both have high melting points. Okay, and in fact if you see the order of melting point is again decided by the crystalline structure, how the how the atoms are arranged in the crystalline structure. And the boron's melting point is somewhere around 2300 degrees Celsius, which is very high, and silicon's also like 1410 degrees Celsius. Okay, so resembling same, not exactly same, but they are having high melting points, and they also have high ionization energy. And because of this reason we can say like they do not form or no cation formation. Okay, ionization energy is very high, so it is not readily losing the electron. If it is not losing the electron, it cannot form cation, so no cation formation. And they act as both act as bad conductors of current at normal temperature. Why I am saying at normal temperature? Because if we increase the temperature, if the temperature is increasing but at higher temperature, they can conduct electricity. The free electrons, they generate the free electrons and can conduct the electricity. They conduct current, and because of this reason at higher temperatures they are conducting electricity. Because of this reason they are called as semiconductors, and for preparing the various semiconductors we use them. In physics you have studied a detailed study about the semiconductors. Okay, I think various dopings are there, and you'll find PNP, NPN, various semiconductors. Fine. So apart from this, we see that their densities are almost all same. Densities are almost same, and the electronegativity values are almost same. Especially for boron, if you see, it is 2.0, and for silicon it is 1.8. Okay, Pauling's scale. And these or they both exhibits allotropy. What is allotropy? Previously also I asked, what is allotropy? Allotropy is defined as same element existing in two or more forms. Okay, so that is what allotropy is. In 10th standard carbon's allotropies you should have studied, graphite, diamond and all. Then what about covalentness about the borons? Just now we have seen like the compounds are basically what, ionic or covalent. So most of the compounds of both the elements are covalent in nature. And they if I talk about the reaction, that is B2O3 on reacting with NaOH. We have seen this reaction already. It forms NaBO2 plus water. It is dissolving in NaOH. That's what we in the last class we have studied about. Same way we can also see SiO2 reacting with sodium hydroxide and dissolves in it, forming sodium silicate, that is NiSiO3 plus water. Okay, then in reaction with that is metals, as said just now, the boron forms on reacting with metals, it forms metal borides. Similarly, boron with metals form metal borides. Similarly, silicon with metals will form metal silicides. Okay, so no change. In fact, you can talk about reaction with magnesium. Okay, magnesium with boron and magnesium with silicon, magnesium silicide and magnesium, they both form Mg3b2 and magnesium silicide Mg2Si. Okay, now if in fact this magnesium boride, when treated with dilute HCl, it forms a mixture of, they produce mixture of boron hydrides. Same way, similarly, magnesium silicide also, on reacting with dilute, it forms silicon hydrides. And in terms of halides also, if you have known this point, we have discussed it already. Boron chloride on reacting with lithium aluminum hydride, what is forming? Lithium chloride plus aluminum chloride plus B2H6 diborane. Same way, SiCl4 on reacting with lithium aluminum hydride, same, lithium chloride plus aluminum chloride plus hydride of boron, hydride of silica, that is SiH4. The only thing is, difference is very important difference. B2H6 is electron deficient, SiH4 is saturated hydride. Okay, saturated compounds, this is very important. Lastly, in fact last but one, these can also be reacting with this, I am writing here itself. Boric acid on treating with ethanol C2H5OH, it forms triethyl oxide of boron plus water. Same way, no change. We also, that is silicon also reacts with this as H4SiO4 on reacting with ethanol, it forms C2H5SiO4 plus water. Okay, so you can find like in all the reactions I am writing both the reactions of boron and silicon, so they are same properties. Okay, and both the halides, like if you talk about boron halides as well as silicon, they both are hydrolyzed. Okay, both halides are hydrolyzed. And halides, regarding the halides again, they can form both forms complex halides. Like example, which we have seen with boron already, BF3 when treated with hydrofluoric acid, it forms, first BF3 grabs the fluorine, so BF4, when it is grabbing the fluorine it gets BF4 minus. How boron is forming BF4, you know, it is using the empty orbital that I have said, the p orbital is empty, right? So using that, fluorine is forming a dative bond, it is forming BF4, but it is a dative bond, so boron is getting an extra electron, so negative charge. Okay, so BF4 is what charge? Negatively charged, and for this negatively charged, the H plus is attached, so HBF4, and now neutral. Similarly, with SiF4 on treating with HF, it forms H2SiF6. Okay, and that's all the reactions I think. One, that is reaction with NaOH, both gives hydrogen, they react with alkali NaOH or KOH to give hydrogen gas. Just now in the previously we have seen the reaction, right, with the yeah, in yesterday's class I think. so they react with the alkali to liberate hydrogen gas. So same way, both boron as well as silicon, they react with nitrogen sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide to liberate hydrogen. Okay, alkali I'm talking about. Okay, so these are the anomalous behavior and diagonal relationship between boron and silicon. So for today we stop with this. In the next class we'll talk about the similarities between boron and aluminium. Okay, there are the very important area in terms of points to remember section. Boron and aluminum has very many similarities, so in the next class we'll talk about that. Okay, fine. So with this we stop today. Stay home, stay safe.